welcome back to the Sacred Garden Yoga channel. I am Cindy Ola. Can you believe it's December already? This is my season. I am a Sagittarius. I was born on December the 16th. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be 49 years old, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm actually here to talk about the solar eclipse that's coming up in just a couple of days. Now, I'm not an astrologer, so if you want something that's more astrologically based, and this is probably not the video for you, but I am sensitive to energy, like just the energy of the collective and bigger messages that are coming through. So I wanted to share with you some of the insights that I've been receiving about the energy that we're currently in, even just right before the solar eclipse, and what that could possibly mean after the solar eclipse. Now, I had the privilege of actually experiencing a total eclipse back in 2017 because it crossed over here in the North Georgia mountains. So me and my family, we traveled up a couple of hours and we got to actually take in the very surreal experience of the eclipse, and I still remember the feeling of that. Now, the solar eclipse that's happening in a couple of days, it's going to be in Antarctica, so I'm sure the penguins will be blessed with the fullness of the energy of the solar eclipse. But what I remember about it is the second that the eclipse hit, and the eclipse itself doesn't last all that long, maybe about a minute or so, is that there is this feeling of surrealness because suddenly everything gets darker. It doesn't get completely dark, but it gets about to what it's like at around dusk time. And there is this moment of just stillness. It's like a pause where everything and everyone, because I was up in on a mountain and there were several people there to witness the eclipse, but it seems like everything around you just went still. And there was this mesmerizing feeling that something really special was happening at that moment, which really also pulled you into the present moment. And as I think about that and what I'm feeling right now for this particular eclipse, it feels like, it's a good time to take a really sacred pause. And I've been in the midst of that pause myself. I'm usually pretty busy, with mom stuff and household stuff and yoga stuff and business stuff and videos. But since Thanksgiving, I felt myself needing to draw inward to get more quiet. There's still some things, some busyness that was going on, but I definitely cut back my schedule a lot. And there was this moment that I'm still experiencing of replenishing yourself within that sacred pause. And the new moon, because we know that the eclipse also is coming in with a new moon, and everything is more dark. The new moon, the dark moon, right? There's no moonlight, and our beautiful sun in the sky is being eclipsed. And it reminds me of that sacred pause, or that void, but that beautiful void of the dark womb from which everything comes from. And within that space of the void and of that dark womb is also, there's a tremendous amount of potential and power and creative energy that's there. But we get so busy, caught up in either striving, or we're leaning into the future so much that we get obsessed with doing, that we forget about the sacred pause, the beautiful void where we need to go to replenish ourselves again and to receive new information. Now, this idea of the sacred pause, or the dark womb, or the void, whatever you want to call it, sometimes we think that, there's not much going on within that space because we're not in that space of doing. However, it is pregnant and ripe with possibilities, and it's actually a stage of accelerated growth because within that pause, we are integrating, replenishing ourselves, and connecting with that bigger energy that is raw and pure, and it's from that space that we receive new insight into information. It kind of reminds me of the story of Ganesha. Ganesha is the elephant-headed god from the Hindu tradition, and he's known as the remover of obstacles. I don't think I actually have a Ganesha up here, but I have lots of Ganeshas over at the yoga studio. But anyways, he is known as the remover of obstacles, but the way that he does that is by going into that sacred pause. He has those big elephant ears in which he listens. One of his stories is, well, he is the son of Shiva and Parvati, or Shiva and Shakti. And Shiva and Shakti, they also had another son called, what was his name? Kartikaya. And the parents, Shiva and Shakti, or Shiva and Parvati, as she's also known, gave them a competition, and they told their two sons, okay, we're gonna play this game. Whoever goes around the world 3 times the quickest will receive from us this gift of this magical mango, okay? And Kartikaya, once he heard that, Kartikaya is the god of war, and he rides this beautiful peacock. Well, he jumped on his peacock and boom, started his rotation and his race around the world. And what Ganesha did, though, is he stopped because his vehicle is a little mouse, and it's not the same as a fast peacock. And he knew that he wasn't going to be able to beat Kartikaya around the world. So instead, he sat and he went within that space in himself. He took that sacred pause. He opened up his big Ganesha ears so that he can listen. He tuned in to the wisdom and the sacredness and the information within himself. And, during this time, Shiva and Parvati, they were like, hey, Ganesha, you need to hurry up because Kartikaya, he's about to beat you. But he didn't listen. He was like, no, I'm going to sit here and do my thing. And eventually, he opened up his eyes and he took 3 full rotations around his mother and father. And he said, you are my world, and therefore I'm taking these 3 rotations, these 3 circles around you. And of course, he won the beautiful magical mango. And what this story goes to show me is that when we take the time to listen, there's an innovation that comes through. And when we take those moments of pause, like the one energetically, what these eclipses give you and this new moon gives you, it gives you a chance to delve into the part of you that is still fresh and raw, and where you can go to find the innovation and the answers that you seek. Because you see, we're moving into a new timeline, and we've been talking about this for a little while. And right now, the outer world is still filled with obstacles and belief systems that belong to an old age. And as we're in the midst of creating a new earth and a new age, it's going to require totally different solutions, and it's going to require us to show up in a new way. But this new way is, again, it's new, it's different to us. We don't know necessarily what that's always going to look like, but we can take these moments of pause, especially in the midst of transitions, in the midst of, an ending and a beginning. So there's a death and there's a rebirth that's happening. And between that death and rebirth, that pause within the middle where the new is formulating. This eclipse and this new moon is a gateway to the other side, right? It's a gateway to the new year. Even it's a gateway to the new earth. However, instead of just rushing into this new way of being and what we're becoming with the old ideas and the old solutions, we need to take the time to pause and to tune in to what's trying to develop within us, so that we take this new innovation, this new information, this new way of being with us into what's becoming. And that's what I'm sensing, and what I'm feeling that we can learn from this eclipse. And it's a good time then within this pause to pray. If you're into prayer, just pray and do the things that nurture you, that nourish your soul, and that replenish you. Because as this rebirth is right around the corner, there's like a pivoting that's happening. Again, an ending and a beginning. And to just sit with yourself, to pray, but also know that you are the answer to your prayer, that you're not just praying to these entities and these beings and these gods outside of you, but you hold the Christ consciousness within yourself. In other words, you have the answer. You are the answer to your prayer. But we need to give ourselves the time. And I'm a big believer in the divine timing. Like give ourselves the time to ripen, so that new prayer, this idea of who we're becoming, to give it the time to formulate and to crystallize. The thing about the sacred pause or the void is that it can be very, very uncomfortable for a lot of us. I mean, how many of you have a hard time, for instance, meditating or being still, where you're not in that mindset of striving or obsessing towards your goal? In other words, you've laid down the striving, you've laid down the obsessing, you've laid down that leaning into your future, and you're just here and now in the present moment. Does that make you uncomfortable? And if it does make you uncomfortable, within the pause, it's a good time to ask, well, why? Why is this making me uncomfortable? What belief system am I holding onto about doing and striving all the time that makes it uncomfortable for me to just sit and be and really take in the moment without feeling like the present moment is lacking in some way? Okay, that is just a habitual way of thinking that, especially in our society where we're trained or we're encouraged to be doing. We're very goal-oriented, that to pause, we feel like we're not doing anything. But the idea of the pause is that within that sacred moment, it's actually very full, okay? And in the energy that we're in right now, we're in the energy of accelerated growth, and in the energy where everything is also being magnified. So everything inside of you is being magnified, and that might make this idea of the pause or the void even more terrifying, because when you actually sit with yourself, you have to be really, really be with yourself, and then decide whether what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're believing, the actions that you're taking, Do you really want to continue to take that on to what's becoming? Do you want to take this into this new timeline that you're creating for yourself? And realizing that this void or this dark womb space can be the most powerful place to create and to become more and more comfortable in that space. It's part of the ascension process. In that space, we have to learn to trust more. And that there's an integration that begins to happen between our humanity and our divinity. It gives you a chance to reach deeper within your own mystery. Who you're becoming, it's available to you right now, right? And the answer, the receiving of your prayer, it's already all here. We simply need to align ourselves to it, to get out of our own way so that we can listen. We can take in the messages that are available to us for that next step. In this energy of the total solar eclipse and the new moon, I invite you to trust the pause and to trust in what's being revealed to you during these moments of pause, and to also trust in your intuition. The tide is being pulled back so that you can see what's at the bottom of your ocean floor. So breathe and exhale and trust more in the mystery so that you can get through your transitions with more ease and grace and energy. At the end of the pause, you'll come out more inspired, enlightened, invigorated, and with new innovation. And that is what we all need right now. But it is going to require your full-hearted presence. If it's hard to turn off the mind, then bring it down and anchor the energy of your mind into your heart. The heart womb. Know that what's in here knows better than what's up here. Go do the things that bring you into this space. Go take walks out in nature. Eat nourishing foods. Have good conversations. Surround yourself with people that uplift you. Take good care of yourself. A pause by nature is time limited, but if you take it in fully, when you resume your activity again, you'll do so with more clarity, instinct, and the ability to make better choices for yourself, for your family, for this planet, and the evolution of all beings. Align yourself with the energies and the frequencies that support you. Slow down. Take rest and enjoy the sacred pause where there is nothing that you have to do. In that pause, realize that the fullness that you're seeking, it's already inside of you. Fullness is your birthright. There is nothing lacking in that pause. You are already home. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.